Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, October 21st, 2024. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. In the 72 hours weather outlook, the SVG Met Services says Saharan dust concentrations across our area continue to reduce visibility in moderate thick haze and are expected to thin out tonight as a tropical wave approaches the islands. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are likely across St. Vincent and the Grenadines tonight and during Tuesday. Residents and motorists in areas prone to flash flooding and landslides or near rivers and streams are asked to exercise caution. The outlook further notes that a few showers could linger across SVG on Wednesday and showers or thunderstorms increase across our islands by Thursday night. It says moderate fresh breeze across our islands vary between northeast and southeast in some locations, increasing near 40 kilometers per hour during Thursday night. Sea conditions are said to be slight to moderate in open water with swells near 1.0 and meters and occasional rip currents west of our islands. Swells range from 1.0 to 2.0 meters. East of our islands, swell heights are rising and moderate 1.5 to 2.5 meters. Sea conditions are likely across SVG during Tuesday. Small craft operators and sea bathers are asked to exercise caution with swells expected to rise again overnight on Thursday. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Met Services says it will continue to monitor the tropical Atlantic Ocean and issue updates or advisories as necessary. You must know the times in which we live. This message was shared by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who was the featured speaker at this year's National Heroes Day event in Grenada on Saturday. Prime Minister Gonsalves emphasized the importance of understanding the current circumstances faced by Grenadians, urging them to act accordingly.
And you must act accordingly in solidarity with one another, in faith, in hope, and in love. And you know what faith is? Faith is the substance of things which we hope for, the evidence of that which we have not yet seen.
The Prime Minister further reminded the gathering that perfection is unattainable, and as humans we are often too hard on ourselves.
No perfection this side of eternity. And on this earthly city where we have temporary presence, we must never make perfection the enemy of the good. Don't make it an enemy of the better, and don't make it the enemy of the best which we can do. Only in Beulah land we are perfect.
Prime Minister Gonsalves was invited to speak at the event by Grenada's Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, who highlighted Gonsalves' deep connection to Grenada's political landscape during the revolutionary period from 1979 to 1983. This year marks the second time October 19th has been observed as a national holiday in Grenada. The date commemorates the 1983 assassination of Maurice Bishop, several of his cabinet colleagues and civilians during a period of intense political strife within the ruling New Drill movement over the issue of joint leadership with his deputy Bernard Cord. Last year, the government declared the day National Heroes Day, though no formal national hero has yet been named. In other local news now, we hear that SVG's Governor General, Dame Susan Duggan, has been confirmed the Doctor of Laws honoris causa by the University of the West Indies Cavell campus for contributions to education and national development. The Governor General, who was among several honorees, also delivered the graduation address for the evening ceremony at the Cavell campus in Barbados, which was held under the theme Celebrating Caribbean Legacy, a Kaleidoscope of Resilience.
And so, Chancellor, for her significant contribution to the crafting of young Caribbean citizens through education, educational leadership, and mentoring, and for her inspiration to a network of talented teaching practitioners, I now present Dame Susan Duggan and ask that you, by the power vested in you by the Council and Senate of the University, to confer on her the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Dame Susan, by the authority vested in me by the Senate and the Council of the University, I now confer unto you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa of this university. Congratulations.
Accepting the honor, Dame Susan Duggan, who is the first woman to serve as SVG's Governor General, said it is a humbling occasion. The Governor General detailed her service to the country, which she described as necessary for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Appreciation that I accept this honorary degree of Doctor of Laws from the University of the West Indies, knowing that I join members of an impressive group who are also recipients of similar honor. I take this opportunity to congratulate Mr. Ralph Taylor and the other honorary graduates who have distinguished themselves in their respective fields of endeavor. You stand out as an illustrious group of role models for the young graduates present today.
In 2010, Dame Susan Duggan received her OBE from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The following year, she was honored during the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Girls High School centennial celebrations by being included on a commemorative stamp. In 2014, Dame Duggan came out of retirement to serve as a Deputy Governor General, and in 2019, she was appointed the first female Governor General for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union is reporting a successful meeting of its General Council on Friday, October 18, 2024. Noting that a General Council is an important element of the union, President Oswald Robinson expressed his pleasure with a strong turnout at the meeting, highlighting that a number of young people attended for the first time and had the opportunity to share their views on several matters discussed.
Because the union is a democratic organization, they were able to express their views, their constructive criticisms, and not even that, but they were able to give suggestions, make recommendations, and that's what the teachers union is about. Not because I'm the president and you're the PR and we're on this program, but we can speak, we can blow the trumpet that this is a democratic organization. We have our elections,
Which are democratic.
we have our meetings, whether it's General Council, General Meeting, or National Executive,
Right.
because that's how the organization functions. This is not an organization that goes around in a briefcase. There are structures, and we ensure that the relevant structures meet. And we use that opportunity to call on the branches, the executive of the branches, to hold their meetings
Right.
and to generate recommendations for the executive to see where we could make interventions and give support where necessary. And we expect that they will go back and continue the conversation at the school level with their stewards and with the branch, that they would call a branch meeting and make sure that they report back. Because it makes no sense you come to a meeting and you can't, or you're not reported.
Right.
One or two branches were not present, we don't know exactly why. So we have to do some further research to find out, and seeing that the president is doing some additional work in industrial relations and research is part of that responsibility, then I would investigate to find out, get down to why, because we saw names
Yes.
and we don't know what happened,
Right.
you know? So we have to look out, because we want all the branches to be represented at the general.
Robinson spoke about a recent visit to Union Island, which she said should have taken place months ago, but was delayed due to Hurricane Beryl, which devastated the island. The SVG-TV President expressed gratitude to their members on the island for their understanding and patience. Robinson noted that 3 members, including himself, who visited the island on Friday, were able to tour the 2 schools on the island located in the same vicinity.
It was good to see the food program in effect. So the teachers and the students, they're getting their meals right there. And it was good. Hot meals.
Right.
Right. So we want to commend the authorities to ensure that meals are provided, and that is very good. Right. We were able to speak with both leadership at the schools and the teachers. We noted that in the case of the secondary school, they are short staffed. Right. And we could understand so, but we deal with the nation's children in that part of the island, right? And we have to ensure that we do much better than this. There's need for improvement in staffing.
Right.
Right? Because we learned that there are some teachers that have to leave the mainland and go down there.
Right.
Spend 2 days. And if those teachers had to leave the island down here to come up, we want to find out, well, where exactly are they staying? Is it at the teacher's house in Union? We don't know. We didn't get that in.
The Teachers Union president stated that the other issue of concern for teachers in Union Island is on availability of textbooks.
Because all of their resources would have been lost.
Hurricane Beryl destroyed textbooks that they have.
Right.
And I like to use the term, what is good for the goose is good for the gander.
Right.
And for the younger people who don't understand that, it's about equity. Right? The same way you give the students textbooks. Because the government give all those schools textbooks.
Right.
What about the teachers? So the students have the tools, but the teachers do not have.
I guess they think that the teachers are expected to purchase their own.
The teachers have additional expenses to deal with the loss of their property and a lot of other stuff.
Right.
So we are asking the authorities, we know the Ministry of Education, they have a storeroom. They use the old Thomas Sanders Secondary School as a storeroom for textbooks.
Right.
So you could make, and I'm saying this so that the principal of the Union Island Secondary School could make a request to the ministry. It's not a large school, right? But they have a lot of textbooks that these students would use.
Right.
So you could request for your staff, and we hope that the ministry would facilitate that. So you see what we're saying, when you visit, you identify certain needs and you're making a recommendation, which I think is reasonable. Good. The primary school do not have cupboards. You know, in a primary school, each classroom would have a cupboard where the teacher would store their stuff, so they don't have that. If you have books, you just have to leave them there. And they have a problem with furniture. I saw a teacher sitting on a desk. And that is not safety.
Other identified issues include the need for reliable internet service and teachers for specialized subjects. While acknowledging that the rebuilding process will take time, Robinson expressed disappointment with the progress of repairs and rebuilding of homes on the island. Minister of National Mobilization Kel Peters has denied allegations made against her regarding involvement in the distribution of housing materials to certain individuals. The minister was asked to clarify the issue during her appearance on WFM Issues at Hand program on Sunday. Minister Peters, who has been with the Ministry of National Mobilization for 3 months, stated that there might have been a mix-up between ministries since the Ministry of Housing was separated from the Ministry of National Mobilization.
For the purpose of complete clarity, where it was alleged that you had to do something with the distribution of housing or housing material, that is not true.
That is not true, and that is nonsense. And I deny that in every material particular.
But it is understandable that people will still associate mobilization with housing given the fusion from before.
Well, that's what I said. So I think that's where the confusion is. Now, as the Minister of National Mobilization, I have met so many people since becoming minister and since burial. And, you know, the social assessments also help sometimes the Ministry of Housing to feed into housing's database, because we've had instances where our social assessors went out and they found people who were clearly impacted by Hurricane Beryl, but they never registered.
The minister, whose previous portfolio was Minister of Foreign Affairs, said that she is knowledgeable about the Ministry of Housing and how assessments are being conducted in a transparent manner.
Just give the caveat that I am not the Minister of Housing, despite what is being said out there on the political platforms, in the press, etc. But as a cabinet member, I do have knowledge of the framework that the Ministry of Housing has set up. So each constituency has a housing assessment team. So it's a team of 4 in most instances. And they are to go out and assess what is happening in the respective constituencies, or the constituencies that are within their jurisdiction. And in some instances, people also go to the Ministry of Housing to say, well, I heard that assessors were in my area, but they didn't come by me. It could be a case where when they went, the people were at work or they weren't at home, they were in town. The Ministry of Housing will let the assessors know, well, Cecil came by, he said, you were in his area, you didn't assess his house, please go out and assess his house. And they will go and they will assess. So they'll make the arrangements at a mutually convenient time to assess that person's house.
Meanwhile, the minister stated that she has received complaints from people seeking assistance regarding the lengthy waiting time. However, she emphasized that her staff is going above and beyond the call of duty. She also noted that during her short time in office, she will be making several recommendations to improve services at the Ministry of National Mobilization.
That we have, they have been working, and I think as time goes on, to be fair to me, as time goes on, I will be able to pinpoint and identify. In fact, there have been some instances where I have made recommendations to the permanent secretary about how we should do certain things going forward. So that will be a continuous process as far as identifying the weaknesses, the strengths. So for instance, in our corporate plan, we have strengths and weaknesses outlined, and that is something that we have to continue to work on as a ministry in order to get the best of the best and provide the best service we can to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
In more local news now, we hear that the SVG Cadet Force Band will be better adorned for any parade of activity that requires the use of sashes. Today, the Elsa Elizabeth Foundation donated a number of the adornments with assistance from the ECGC. Upon receiving the adornments, Commander of the Cadet Force Band, Lieutenant Colonel Bertilian Hamilton, expressed that it is a timely donation.
The drum major sash, along with the other adornments, would bring the Cadet Force Band into the 21st century as it relates to our appearance. Most persons would see the Cadet Force Band on the road, on the street, wherever we go, and we are similarly adorned like the rest of the organization. But these decorations this morning would assist in shifting and shaping the new image and the visibility and the brand of the SVG Cadet Force Band. We know that we'll be celebrating our 45th anniversary of independence next Sunday. And these items, you would see the band adorned with the drum major sash, the breastplates and the chevrons, and also the shoulder boards. We also would have received gifts of instrument also from this foundation.
The Elsa Foundation has made several donations to the SVG Cadet Force band in the past. Sinclair Leacock, son of Elsa Leacock and an opposition member of parliament, recalled the significant contribution the Cadet Force made to his career, highlighting the integral role his parents played. He emphasized that the foundation's donation speaks volumes.
Brigadier Generals. But it is our distinct pleasure as a family to support the Cadet Force Band, where Lieutenant Alan Cotton always held it that it should be a national showpiece. That is, anytime it's on the road and on parade, people will come to see it. And it has gone up and down and across and around, and different people have made contributions, and it is still doing its best to be successful. Today, it's my pleasure, on behalf of the family, to be here and to be representative that the Cadet Force will be an outstanding unit next week, Monday night. I think it will be Sunday night. Next Sunday night, yeah, you made on Sunday, that's right. Sunday night, when they are on parade.
Hundreds of police officers has passed through the SVG Cadet Force band and has gone to make valuable contributions to SVG both locally and overseas. The Bura Health Center will soon be demolished to facilitate the construction of a new smart health facility for the people of Bura and surrounding communities. The new facility will cost US $3.2 million. A consultation was held last week where Jacob Bowman from the Ministry of Economic Planning outlined the proposed plan, stating that the new facility is one of 3 clinics slated for upgrades. She noted that it should be able to withstand a Category 4 hurricane.
Goal is for us to upgrade it to a point where it will remain open in the event of a natural disaster such as a hurricane and, unfortunately, a volcanic eruption. The structure, while currently still in operation, is on its last leg. There are evidence of structural damage, termites, and other things that are making the building not safe. But it would be able to withstand a Cat 4 storm with some features added to it, such as hurricane-resistant windows, etc. It will be also harvesting water, so we will have tanks, so in the event that we have loss in power or water, the facility can still run at maximum capacity.
Bowman added that the new Bura Health facility will also cater to the needs of the staff.
This is going to be a single-story structure with reinforced concrete beams and columns, with hurricane-resistant windows and hospital-grade doors. This structure, although now it's a single-story structure, is designed so if in the future we would like to add a second story, it will have the capacity, the structural capacity, to carry a second floor. Schedule accommodations, what we're going to put in it. As you can see, we're trying to make sure we capture all the needs of both the medical staff and the residents of Bura in terms of health services. So there will be a pharmacy department, consultation rooms, a triage or area for emergencies.
Bura falls within the constituency of North Central Windward, represented by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Addressing residents, PM Gonsalves said the new health facility will be one to admire.
We've been trying to do in the constituencies to North Central Windward is to improve markedly the delivery of hospital, diagnostic, and health center facilities. I want you to begin to give consideration. You don't have to give the answers now, but I want you to begin to think about it, that when we move over to finish construct this fantastic modern clinic, the smart clinic, I want you to think about what we're going to use the temporary one for. One suggestion I have is to make it a wellness center with a gym in it and some other facilities. But that's just my idea. You may have a different idea.
A temporary clinic will also be built to be used in the interim. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment will host its third night clinic this Friday, October 25th, 2024 in New Montrose. On NBC Radio Face-to-Face program today, representative of the ministry, Winfield Tanis Abbott, stated that the night clinic is one of the initiatives aimed at reducing health risk by adopting innovative ways to provide healthcare services to individuals who may not have time during the day to access these services.
And we are realizing that a lot of people thus far, this will be our third night clinic, and the response have been very, very, very good. And it gives persons who leave work at 4, 5 or 6 o'clock, they can pass by and have certain health services done.
Okay, what is the reaction like as it relates to the past two that you had, and where were they held?
The past two was held at our outreach clinic, which is just across from Radio 705 here. And what we have noticed is quite a lot of young persons turned up. And we saw persons who are hard workers. So before they go home, they find themselves coming there. And the night clinic, in a way, because we're dealing with HIV, we're doing testing, and so it allows certain persons from certain population to come because of the privacy that the night clinic offers. And everyone thought it was a good idea. We had it one time, a second time, and persons called back for it again.
So I guess this one is to coincide with the 45th anniversary of
yes,
our
it
independence.
Is. Yes, it is.
So Friday from what time?
From 2 p.m. to 7 p.m.
And tell us where that is being.
It will be at New Montrose, which is at Dr. Gerald Thompson Building. And if you knew where the Imani Preschool was, it's just on the other side. So you can also say it's across from Nemo. It's a red and white building, and our flag is always flying, the HIV flag there.
Okay.
The night clinic, which is sponsored by the Taiwan International Cooperation Development Fund, will be hosted under the theme Reducing Risk Across the Spectrum.
So we will have disaster management by NEMO. We have rapid HIV syphilis testing. We will have mental health screening, dental examination, breast examination, and health promotion. And there will be a lot of giveaways as well, free giveaways. And everything there will be free. And also we will have basic life supply. BLS will be demonstrated by AIA fire police officers. Basic life support, and you know, it will be nice if every organization and different ministries can have something like that, so you reduce any situation. If an ambulance can't come on time, you would have been well trained to start the process. And I can say that 2 weeks ago, we did BLS training with the Legal Affairs Department, where the Attorney General and others took part as well. So that's BLS.